this incident. And if you look at what was going on just in the days before, including significant mental health issues that were treated by multiple manners, he's not just getting diagnosed and he's not just seeing somebody. He went through an electric shock therapy session to try to deal with whatever was going on inside his head. So I think what's happening, no good plea option, so you got to take it to trial. No good defense, because the eyewitnesses say you let off the gun. And so you argue mental state and you say, hey, my client just wasn't in a good place that day. You throw it to the judge and the jury and you hope they lower the charge from murder to something like assault with a deadly weapon.
I actually looked it up. It's 6.5 million. Stone age kind of technology, but they still do electroshock therapy to people.
I was surprised when I read that. The last time I saw that was probably like in The Shining with Jack Nicholson.
So apparently, look, the lawyer's gone into court and that's going to be his defense, that they're going to try to knock down these charges.
Watch it.
Why do you think he took on that, representing Eric Holder?
Well, I know why he took it on.
In capacity, he was mentally unstable.
Temporary insanity?
Yeah. That's what would have been used here probably, which blacks aren't allowed to use. So he'd have probably been testing the water, because I text him and say, are you trying to try this case under temporary insanity, mental illness? And he didn't respond, but I say, I understand that's what you're probably trying to do. And that's what blacks aren't afforded to do, and how a lot of times these cases could be somewhere they were mental ill health to where they should have been sent to a hospital or something and treated for treatment, as opposed to mass incarceration, or being incarcerated and treated as a criminal. So he would have been addressing that, to where John Hinckley shot a president, but he got to go to the St. Elizabeth under this defense.
I figured that. I mean,
that's the only logical thing you could think of.
Right.
What defense can you say?
Right, because Eric Holder has a history of mental illness. Matter of fact, they finally caught him in a mental hospital. That's where he just checked himself in. And to kill someone in broad daylight in front of a whole bunch of people with cameras everywhere, that would be the defense I thought that he would use.
Me too.
Yeah.
Fast and furious. Weapons from that botched gun-running sting were found at the scene of a shootout that killed their son. Well, now they have some harsh words for President Obama and Attorney General Eric Holder. Our William Lajeunesse has been all over this story. He is streaming live to us now from Phoenix. William.
Well, John, the family believes that officials knew that ATF Phoenix was helping sell and smuggle guns to Mexico and could have stopped the operation before their son was killed with 2 of those guns. Because of that, they have blood on their hands here in Phoenix and in Washington, and they want them prosecuted for staying silent.
I'm still on his Facebook because I was his friend, and I look and see what people wrote, and I look at his videos. It's like a little bit of closure. It's like he's still with me.
I have trouble with going to the cemetery, because he ain't supposed to be there.
The Terrys laid their son Brian to rest almost a year ago, a victim, they say, of a government program that armed Mexico's largest cartel.
I cannot be expected to know the details of every operation.
Attorney General Eric Holder and Chief Deputy Lanny Brewer both claim ignorance about the operation. The Terrys don't buy it.
I know they're lying. I know they're just nothing but liars.
Tuesday, lawmakers asked if Holder wanted to apologize. He declined, saying only,
I certainly regret what happened.
But I bet you if he lost his son, he would think different.
Holder has since said he is sorry. And while the murder weapons are linked to Fast and Furious, Holder claims the operation did not directly lead to the agent's death.
Well, I disagree with that. I think they are. Them brand new AK-47s they were carrying.
If they would have never let these guns walk, maybe Brian would have never been out in that desert.
To some officials, Brian was collateral damage. His parents, he was everything.
I can't sleep thinking about him. I love him very much.
I can tell you, John, that the family is planning shortly to file a claim and eventually a lawsuit against the federal government for wrongful death. And when they do, it is going to be big. There's a fundraiser this weekend for the family to celebrate Brian's life. Back to you.
So sad to hear from those parents. William Lajeunesse, thank you.
Nearly 5 years in prison. That's the sentence for a man who purchased the deadly assault weapons found at the murder scene of a Border Patrol agent. ABC 15 investigator Lori Jean Gliha was in federal court for the Fast and Furious case today, and she explains what the suspect said about the victim's family in court.
With no felonies in his background, Jaime Avila Jr. was a prime recruit for a smuggling operation that supplied assault weapons to a Mexican drug cartel. Avila was a straw buyer. Criminals paid him to purchase guns in Arizona, and someone would transport those guns to Mexico.